Today we'll be installing the Pine dropper post with Puget 1x lever. Start by uninstalling your current seat post and saddle. Insert the dropper post into the seat tube, making sure that it's pointed in the correct orientation. The product logo and height measurement lines should be on the back side of the post. Set your dropper to your desired height and tighten the seat collar bolt until it holds the dropper post in place. It's important to follow your frame manufacturer's recommended torque setting for the seat collar, as this varies between manufacturers. Install your saddle into the saddle clamp by loosening the bolts just enough to create an opening for the saddle rails to slide into place. Make sure both saddle rails are securely in the round grooves on the top and bottom portions of the saddle clamp. Slide the saddle to your desired placement and tighten the bolts until they are secure using a 5mm Allen wrench. One cool thing to note about the Puget 1x is that it's also SRAM Matchmaker X compatible right out of the box. You'll just need to use SRAM's adapter hardware to install it. For this video, we'll be installing it using the standard clamp. You'll notice that there are two bolt positions to bring the lever more inward or outward, depending on your preference. Start by sliding the hinge clamp over the bar and using a 4mm Allen, tighten the bolt clamp to the lever body until it's snug. Starting at the post, install the cable housing with cable end into the post and run it to the front of the bike. Secure the cable housing using your frame's cable holders or strap them to the frame if none exist. Before trimming the cables to proper length, make sure that the inner wire hasn't been installed yet. Using your fingers, pull the cable end off of the housing. Use your fingers to hold the cable in place where the cable will be installed into the lever while pulling the excess slack through the other side. Turn the bars 90 degrees to verify that you have just enough housing for the bars to turn, but not too much slack so that they're rattling around or can maybe get caught on something while you're riding. As they say, measure twice and cut once. Using a pair of cable cutters, cut the cables to your measured spot. Starting back at the post, slide the inner wire through the housing. Pop the dust cover off, starting at the bottom of the cover. Insert the cable end into the slotted opening of the cable carrier. Using the slot in the dust cover, slide the cable through and snap the dust cover into place, starting at the top of the dust cover and working your way back down. Slide the cable housing into the opening at the bottom of the mid cap and firmly seat it into place. Reinstall the cable end that was removed when trimming the cables at the front of the bike by sliding the inner cable through the opening and push the cable end firmly into the housing. Next, slide the cable through the barrel adjuster and remove the cable clamping bolt. Push the lever to the resting position and reinstall the cable bolt so that it can clamp the inner cable. Using your fingers to keep the lever at the resting position, pull the cable taut and tighten the cable clamp bolt so that it holds the cable in place. Wiggle the lever to assess how much play there is. Twist the barrel adjuster to remove any slack, but not so much that the dropper is actuated. Trim the cable to your desired length using cable cutters and then slide the cable end onto the trimmed cable. Use pliers to crimp it closed. Adjust the lever to your desired placement and using a torque wrench, tighten the lever clamp to 2 to 3 Nm. Make sure not to over-torque the clamp as this can cause damage to the handlebar, which could result in personal injury or even death. Test the lever to ensure proper function. Assuming everything feels right and the dropper is actuating properly, you're now ready to go ride.